What's up, people? What's up, people? What's up, people? It is your boy MM2K of PNTS Networking, CloudDosage, back again with a special presentation. We're going to be talking about this Activision slash Microsoft slash GFN thing that's going on, man. Shout out to Ron Slusher in the house. This is big news. We're going to talk about it in three parts. We're going to actually talk about the news. We're going to give you how we kind of foresaw this happening. So how did we foresee this happening? We're going to show you the evidence that we foresaw this happening months ago and tell you how we came to the conclusion just by connecting the dots and what dots we connected. And then lastly, we're going to talk about what this means for cloud gaming and my general thoughts about all this. But before we do that, here, let me do some things here. I'm trying to find some articles that I pulled up. Gosh, let me see if I can go into my history. What does it show your history? Yeah, there we go. There goes my history. Let me see. Hold on. Give me a second. I think this is it. Is that it? No. Man, hold on. Give me a second. There's an article. Oh God. There's an article that I'm trying to find that I found earlier that details some things. We'll get to it. But I want to say this, man. Before we get into like parts 2 and 3, where I talk about how we foresaw this happening and what it means for gaming, I just want to say this, because this is kind of bittersweet when it really shouldn't be. I mean, the fact of the matter is that, and I felt like I had to get on the mic and talk, because when you're creating content and you come out with stuff, and you're not going to be 100% right when you come up with your synopsis of a lot of things, but we pride ourselves here in bringing you facts, digging deep for the facts, and giving you the most likely trajectory things are headed because of those facts. One thing that I can tell you is that as far as the facts are concerned, we've always been spot on with the facts. Now, as far as our analysis of the trajectory of what things are leading to, I want to say we in like the 80th, 90th percentile. We're not, you're not always going to forget and get everything right when you think what the facts will lead to. But I feel like we have a great record here at CloudDosage and on the website when we give you our analysis and we say, hey, look, this is what this likely means. And for the most part in the cloud space, I think people have respected that. They've understood that, and that's why you guys have come here, and that's why the CloudDosage brand is what it is, and it's respected. We feel that it's a respected brand. People appreciate it, and we appreciate you for it. Now, when we go to the mainstream gaming side, now again, there's some things with cloud gaming as far as the community when we're not familiar with things that kind of sometimes I roll my eyes, but overall, we're just trying to find the facts. You get over to this mainstream gaming side, and even though I'm used to how things go over there, and I know sometimes people just like to razz and joke, and that's fine and that's cool. But I'm the type of person, I like to come to the table and I like to share notes. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what I do for a living. I share notes. We try to get to the bottom of the thing. I've actually been involved in uniform commercial code. If you haven't heard this bit from me, shout out to my homegirl, Purple Haze. We had a fantastic interview, fantastic discussions. And in one of those, in part of that discussion, I talked about some of my history, corporate-wise. And I've been involved in drafting uniform commercial code with competitors, helping to draft uniform commercial code with regulators alongside of competitors, because we had a common goal. So I don't mind swapping notes. What kind of bewilders me at times, and you'll find this here on the internet, especially dealing with some of these creators that I don't know, maybe they've never gotten attention before, that they've seeked and they feel like that they want or desire. That no, that can't be true because my people ain't come to me and tell me that. You know, even though they didn't tell me otherwise, they didn't tell me that, and I got to be the all-seeing eye. You know what I'm saying? And when you do stuff like that, you're not somebody working in a path of trying to get people the truth. What you're trying to do is you're trying to pad your own agenda. You're trying to pad your own hyperbole, and you're trying to make it, you're trying to force something into reality that may not be so. And I'm not a fan of that. I don't like that. And I don't like when people do that because ultimately I want people to come away with the truth. It may be something that I don't like, but the truth is the truth, and the truth will set you free. So I felt it was important for me to go live, to thumb my nose in the eye of many of those on the not y'all on the cloud side. I don't have no coming to Jesus moments over here this time. This is for my mainstream people. Y'all don't know it all. And part of y'all problem is you're getting your information from people who have an agenda for a particular platform. You need to open your horizons to get the full truth so you won't look stupid like how you had to look today. When you stop doing that, you won't run into instances like today. I had some great conversations today, by the way, but I'll let that go. All right, let's go on. Shout out to everybody in the chat. I see y'all coming in there. Please tweet this out. Let everybody know that we're live. All right. And that we're doing the daggone thing. Let me see. Let me get to the chat right here. Social. We got my homie IOG. He says Sony State of Play on the 23rd. Next gen or enhanced games added. Streaming including Horizon Forbidden West in the query. Sony to stay internal with external hardware contractors, in my opinion. You know what? Who knows? I know that there is, I'm going to be a forthcoming player in the cloud scene. Well, that's the hope. And they're being powered by a very powerful company, one that's already done this. Hint, hint. They're being supported, rather, and they're empowered. They're being supported and empowered. So if everything, and that's a huge thing with what we're talking about today. So I know there's hopes that once they get everything up and running, that they can approach people like Sony and say, you know what, when you upgrade, when you really get bad about it when it comes to this cloud thing, come and see us. We got your back. That's what I'm hearing, IOG. Speaking of that, IOG, I hope you got into that X Defiant, man. Thank you so much. I had a blast playing it. I only got to play it Friday and Saturday, but I had a blast doing it. Shout out to Lo-Fi Mark and shout out to Raven Anime, man. We was busting it up on there on Friday night, man. Oh no, Thursday night, I think it was. But thank you. But it was all made possible because of IOG. IOG says, I can almost hear MM2K asking himself what every Stadia player must have asked themselves today. Why couldn't Google have done so? Well, we're going to talk about that, IOG. Google's problem was Google had an issue because of the development that it took to get the games on the platform. They built the platform to work long-term, to be the best long-term. And I felt like if they would have stayed in it, it probably would have been the best long-term. Don't get me wrong. I love Nvidia Geforcenow Ultimate. It's a fantastic tool and it's hard to see how anything could be better than that. But when I look at what we know about what Stadia was capable of and what they were working towards, oh yeah, Stadia could have beat it. Stadia could have beat it. That being said, you had to develop for it. The porting process was more cumbersome than people wanted for a cloud platform that was 1% or less of the business. And, so they didn't have a short-term solution. They didn't have a real good short-term solution. They were working on it though. They were almost there. And then they gave in to, I talked about this I think I dropped this video last week. They gave in to go and do something with another provider. They gave up to go with another provider, and because they felt like them being on the front end of cloud gaming wasn't probably best. So they'd rather be supporting cloud gaming from an infrastructure sense. You're gonna hear more about that soon. That's all I'm allowed to say. You know what I mean? If the information I got from very great sources, if it's accurate, you'll be hearing more details about that soon from the right people. All right. With that being said, let's get on to today's news. Shout out to Sean L. Thank you for coming through, good brother, as always. And again, tweet us out, let everybody know that we're live. You know how we do. Let me show you something. All right, so this is the, let me fix that because, and I haven't been in this for a long time, so I definitely got to fix a bunch of stuff. All right, where is the screen? There we go. We're gonna go to properties and we got to go to Force SDR. If you notice your screens are dim, particularly for your web scenes on OBS, it's you got to force the SDR in the options. All right, thought I should drop that off with you. I think this is Xbox way to get the a la carte purchases, to give a la carte purchases like a test run. That's an interesting theory, but I'm gonna tell you what it is, Sean. I'm gonna tell you exactly what it is. Again, tweet us out, let everybody know that we're live. We appreciate all of you. Thank you so much. Let me do something here. I'm gonna send this out to a couple of places too. Very interesting. Let me embellish on that a little bit. I don't think Xbox in particular, Sean, is ready for any of that right now. The platform is, there ain't no, people don't like me saying it. That's kind of why I keep, hold on 1 second, y'all, hold on. That's kind of why I keep my rhetoric to myself when it comes to Xbox. But I'll tell you this. The platform isn't developed enough. I'll put it like that. That's the nicest way I can put it. The platform isn't developed enough to really make use of games like Call of Duty and so forth in the cloud. One of the interesting things too that I had one of the conversations I had today, and again, I'm learning to not keep my mouth shut. Normally, I keep quiet when I have these conversations. I let people say their little piece, but I'm learning that it's important to speak up, especially when you're being doubted, because when you don't speak up when you're being doubted, people are listening, they're watching, and they'll take that as gospel. And that can have an effect on your long-term, your brand, you know what I'm saying? And what you're trying to do. And there's no worser thing for people like ourselves who are trying to be purveyors of facts and the truth, because we're sick and tired of this crap that's being peddled on the internet to be made out to not know what they're talking about, not have sources, not really know anybody, you know what I'm saying? Even though, like we said, all through this whole cloud thing, everything that we've said, we've spoken of as far as factual data was concerned. We told y'all Cyberpunk 2077 was dropping day and date. We told y'all about the pivot that Stadia was making when y'all thought that they were closing down because of SG&E. They closed down years out or a year after that for totally different reasons. Everybody thought that they was winding down in a few months. No, it had something to do. They closed SG&E for other reasons. We predicted to the porting tools were coming. You know what I'm saying? And there was other things that we were about to unravel before they just decided to throw in the towel. We pride ourselves in making great connections and relationships with people close to what's going on the ground. We do thorough research. A lot of times before we go live, we would spend hours and hours and hours doing research, because that's what I got to do in order to keep my lights on. I gotta have an error proficiency rating less than 0.4%, and I handle millions of transactions and things that are happening a month through things that I've created. So I've not only had to create systems myself that are efficient, but then my reconcilement of those processes have to be less than 0.4% error, right? So dotting my I's and crossing my T's are what I do to keep my lights on. You know what I mean? And so we pride ourselves in bringing that whole theory over here when it comes to fact checking things and finding out things for you all. Yeah, one of the interesting discussions that I had was that we weren't going to see Call of Duty for years because it wasn't capable. Sean, this is what I was told. It wasn't capable in the cloud. That right there proves to you that the people that are fumbling, there's on one notion, they want to be the all-seeing eye of all this critical data and information. Like, don't get me wrong, there's some people that are joking, that are trolling, that are playing with this, and they ain't worried about that stuff. They just joking. I ain't worried about them people. I'm talking about those that want to be the all-seeing eye of critical data. Told me that it's going to be years before we see Call of Duty on the cloud because it's not capable. That just tells you that they're embellishing upon something they have done no research on. I had a conversation with my son the other day. He's doing a video. He's very talented, very smart kid, but he's a kid. And what do kids do nowadays, Sean? When you ask them, do they do research? That means that they go to a YouTuber or they go to someone's opinion piece, because it's easier to digest that and listen to that because it's entertaining, all this stuff, opposed to you going and getting boring facts, trying to decipher them and coming down the middle on them. That's a lot harder to do. But again, I do that every day to keep my lights on. So it's nothing for me. I love boring and uneventful things because that's what I got to do. And it helps me get everything that's out there opposed to someone's caveated version of it. Now, you know what I know, Sean. And you ain't out here like some of these people that's babbling this idiocy. That Call of Duty is more than capable in the cloud. If it was capable anywhere, it would be capable on GFN Ultimate. Stop it. That's tomfoolery, stupidity. And that just shows to prove. Like I was telling my son, he was talking about Geforcenow, and he's explaining it to me without explaining the ultimate tier. Now, mind you, this is my son who loved Geforcenow. Me and him would go back and forth and do cloud platform wars online. I made a couple of videos with him. Now, I felt like they were entertaining. When me and him went back and forth over which cloud platform we prefer, Geforcenow or Stadia, and I just thought it was entertaining and fun. Whatever you like, it's okay. But he was telling me, he was like, Dad, for competitive play, unfortunately, Geforcenow doesn't cut it. And he's explaining to me the priority tier. And he's just a founder. He's never had access to. So I'm explaining to him the capabilities of Geforcenow Ultimate, and he's ignoring me. And he's still talking to me about these bullet points in this video. Well, fast forward to last night, and he was like, Dad, the latency on Geforcenow is horrible. And he said, I clicked on this reflex thing or something. And I said, well, hold on. And that struck a bell with me because the reflex technology is part of the Geforcenow Ultimate tier. The Geforcenow Ultimate tier is only available to those that are Geforcenow Ultimate members. but it's not available in the server that's close to us. So that told me that he was not even in the server close to. So I said, son, what server are you in? And he gave me the server. I said, son, that's way away from us. What are you doing? Oh, okay, yeah. Well, I had listened to so-and-so on YouTube and they told me to go here. See, that's what I'm saying. All this Google research, this internet, like I use Google to help pinpoint draft research, but then I always cross balance it with something else. And I don't just go to people that I like or that I agree with. I go to people that I don't like and I don't agree with as philosophy wise to get data. That's what you're supposed to do. Well, that's the way I was taught. And you got a lot of people out here talking and sending stuff constantly that don't do that. They just follow one prism, one set of theories, one way of thinking, one set of philosophies with something, and they don't kick the tires on anything. So when you come from out of nowhere with a haymaker, they're days, they don't know what to do. They shut the hell up like they should, but they don't go back and they don't fine tune their research. You know, and I know, if you're listening to this live right now, Nvidia Geforcenow is more than capable of playing cloud games, including Call of Duty, that operate off of Google's cloud infrastructure. They didn't even know that. What are we doing here? They don't even know that. Off of cloud gaming and off of Google Cloud infrastructure, Nvidia Geforcenow is able to run multiplayer on other platforms that do that. All the Ubisoft games like Rainbow Six Siege and so forth that run off of Google Cloud, right? Also, we got other games like Apex Legends that run well on the Nvidia Geforcenow. If you don't have a 40 series card that's like a 4070 or up, or 4080 and up, and I'll say 4070 and up in your home, you don't have like a 12th generation GPU, and you want to play these games with the greatest fidelity, or just you want to play them with the best performance possible, Nvidia Geforcenow Ultimate is your most accessible answer, period. And as long as they allow the game on Nvidia Geforcenow, the way the infrastructure and everything is set up, it is not cumbersome to get any of these games on there. And the company that a lot of these people support just signed a multi-year deal giving them the milk without the cow. So you better get on your job and better understand this stuff and stop looking stupid out here. But I'm done talking to them. Let me get back to y'all. All right. So with that said, shout out to Project Storm in the house. I'm about to get in this news. He said, wait a damn minute. Is this real? Am I hearing this first on Cloud and see the end? Whoa. Yep. Hey, bruh. Hey, bruh, it's real. It's real. It's real in the Ville. It's real in the Ville. Ron Slusher in the house. Zero games for me since GFN needs all the games it can get. All of these cloud platforms need all the games they can get. All of them do. I agree with that. They need all the games they can get because that's the only thing separating Geforcenow from being a mainstream competitor. They have the fidelity. They definitely have the latency. Like the fidelity and the latency is in the 1 percentile. They just need more games. They need the games that a gamer, the allure for a console is that all I got, first and foremost, the plug and play aspect of it. And Nvidia Geforcenow is so powerful, it makes PC gaming plug and play. So they got that locked down. All right, and then what you do is now you need you got the fidelity, you got the latency. Now you need the games, because that's the luxury of being a cloud gamer. You know that if you got a console, that you're going to get access to the majority of the games that are out there. And that's all that Nvidia Geforcenow needs to propel them into mainstream land. And getting access to the Microsoft games is a big deal. You know, partake in certain events, Storm. So I don't want to talk like this is etched in stone, Storm. I mean, this is great news. This is fantastic news, but it's not etched in stone yet. And I'm going to get to all that. This is definitely capable. Come on. Yeah, I mean, this is what I'm saying, man. I got to call them out. I ain't gonna call them out by name. I'm gonna be all right now. And again, it's nobody in the cloud space. These is mainstream people that's supposed to know everything. Don't talk about stuff in a concrete fashion that you don't know about, because you're deceiving people. Just shut the hell up and learn. That irks me. You know that irks me, Storm. That irks me when people do that, just so they can prove a point. Ain't about proving a point with me. Are you getting your facts? Am I helping you in getting your facts? That's it. If you don't know what you're talking about, just shut up. Just shut up and learn. When I don't know something, I shut up. I'm not telling anybody out there, none of my mainstream friends, to do anything that I wouldn't do. When I don't understand, like when they was talking about this RDNA 3 and 2, I shut the hell up. And I didn't even care about it. It's stupid to me. RDNA 2 and 3, it doesn't even equate to anything this generation. But I shut up and I listen. It's time for other people to learn to do the same. Swallow that pride, shut up, and listen. Jay Smith says, hopefully there's an updated Chill TV coming too. Hopefully. But one thing that I will tell you, and Storm knows about this, is that AV1 codec is supposed to be done soon. Well, you know, yeah, you're still gonna need an upgraded Shield, because I don't think Shield can Shield do 120? Or is Shield maxed out at 60 hertz? If Shield isn't maxed out at 60 hertz, if it can do 120, then when that AV1 codec drops, I would expect, because it's light on the resources, that AV1 codec, you could probably still use the same Nvidia Shields. But if the machinery isn't 120 hertz capable, then yeah, you're definitely gonna need you're gonna need a new machine. Oh, it's Purple in the house. Purple said, I heard my name, MM. Purple in the house. How come Purple? Come on, y'all gotta pop Purple up. Pop up Purple. Come on, Purple, you gotta pop up Purple. My comment thing ain't working, Purple. My bad. Shout out to Purple. And I saw you, I caught it last minute, Purple. I saw you, shout out to Ace. I saw you doing a one-on-one with Ace. I gotta finish it. I only caught the first few moments of it. Dope stuff. Shout out to Ace too. There she goes. She says, let's go. What do you mean, Internet of Games? Hey, Jinx, how are you? All right, dope stuff. All right, so let's get into today's stream. Let's get into the news. I had to, in a roundabout way, curse out some of my mainstream friends who just, again, there's some of them that are just joking around, they're trolling. I ain't worried, you know, we just having fun. We just busting each other's chops. That's what we do. But there's some of us that don't understand that their thought process is siloed. They want something to happen, so everything that they're engaged in is in relation to what they want to happen, all the research that they're doing. Let me give you a prime example, and then I'm gonna shut up and move on to what y'all came here for. I wanted the Stadia technology to be preserved, to be wrapped up in a pretty bow and sold to somebody. Cause that, you know what I'm saying? That's a continuation of the work that we did, the hard work that we did in understanding that technology. And it's something that's proven. And we know, I've sat with people, Storm sat with people behind the scenes with me, you know, and other people. A lot of us have sat, John and Clive and Jack. We've sat with people behind the scenes. We've talked to them, and they've told us about the capabilities of the platform. So it's already proven, and we know what it's capable of. It's just that it was a matter of getting those capabilities out there. So it could get packaged in a nice little bow and given to somebody that's going to utilize those capabilities. I was all for that. However, what did we tell you in the video that we dropped last week? Per some very, you know, important and close sources to this stuff, we discovered that's not what's going to happen. Now, again, because I have an agenda, I'm not going to sit here and get on the mic and tell y'all, yeah, like I said, man, that's Stadia. Somebody going to get that Stadia stuff? No. I can't tell you guys everything, but what I can tell you, I'm going to let you know to help preserve the truth. And the things that I can't tell you is because I'm not in that business of compromising people just so I'm the first to tell you something. A lot of my information I hold on to for a while in case said sources come back to me and say, yo, MM. Originally thought it would be okay for you to drop that. I found out, nah, man, that's it's a little too close to home. If you drop that, it's going to come back to me. Chill. You know what I'm saying? So, understand that those are the rigors that we go through to make sure that you guys get facts. But a lot of people aren't out here like that. They want something to happen, so they follow certain people's interpretation. Like shout out to Purple. Me and Purple, we had like a debate about a cloud service, right? And I brought up lawyers. And one of the things that she said, because it's funny that she said it, because I just had another debate the day prior with somebody else where I brought up the same exact point that she brought up against me, which is lawyers can make up anything that they want if they have an agenda. That's why they're lawyers. That's why there's a defense lawyer, you know what I'm saying, and a prosecutor. They take the same event, the same actions, and they twist it in a way or present it in a way that serves their agenda, their client. So if you have somebody who has an agenda or who is not unbiased to said situation, you're only getting their skillfully crafted, caveated version of said situation. And I never do that. I never go to somebody, especially for legal advice, who I know has an agenda for one thing to go down one way or another. You know why? I learned this at a very young age. When I was in college, I had one of my mentors at work. I know I said I'm gonna get it, but I just hear me out. One of my mentors at work, shout out we will call him Mr. T. Shout out to my brother, Mr. T. He also ended up being he moonlighted and was a professor at where I went to school at, which was crazy. But the guy was decorated all over the place business-wise, right? So I'm like, damn, I said, dude, you follow me everywhere, blah, 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 right? Anywho, I wrote a paper about Microsoft. And this was back in the 90s when people were like, Microsoft is trying to become, the term slips me, but that's where the judge originally had ordered for Microsoft to be broken up, but they never followed through with that, right? Remember, for those of you that are old enough, remember that. And my paper was in favor of Microsoft's practices. And I knew it was a well written paper. My teacher gave it, my professor / mentor gave it back to me. This is an F. I said, what? I said, but what didn't I get right? And he's like, no. He's like, I'm gonna be honest with you. Because we cool like that. It's not that your paper was bad on getting the facts and getting to the core of the discussion and presenting it in your way. I just don't like what you had to say. I don't like it. I don't like anybody, you know, siding with Microsoft. Just personally, I don't like it. So rewrite the paper. And this, you know, this is my bro. This is my mentor. So I did it. I was young. Now I would have said, "Oh hell no!" But I did it. And he was a lawyer too. You know what I'm saying? Lawyers, I'm telling you, just because someone is of a professional mind, if they have an unbiased agenda towards something, they can sculpt something however they want to sculpt it. When you're out here doing research, I'm not saying don't listen to those that have an agenda, but don't only listen to those that have an agenda. That their agenda could be spot on, but you gotta cross-reference it and cross-balance it to all of the arguments on the table. Pluck out the ones that make sense. Kick the tires. Do your due diligence. You'll have no choice but to find the truth after that. It's never failed me. Never. All right? That being said, let me see, we got some more comments in here. We got Jeremy Moore says shielded maxes at 60 hertz. Okay, yep, so they're gonna need new hardware. Perp said I'm always mellow. Sean L says fight. Oh, they get it on, they rumbling in the chat. Jeremy Mo says you are not lying at all. They do. He says, Jeremy, I'm hoping this new move with GFN will finally give them the reason to make and sell a new Nvidia Shield TV device. Yeah, that would be dope. That would be dope. Fun times at CloudDosage News. It was all good. Thanks again for coming on the show. No, we got to do it again. That was so much fun. I had a lot of fun, and I think people learned a lot that episode thanks to you, including myself. It was a great conversation, and those are good conversations. That's where you take, you know, that's where you take differing sides of an opinion, you know, and you listen to everything and all the facts that are being broken down. That's what people should do. And opposite of that, y'all get to learn a little bit about my weird gaming culture. So it was a hell of an interview. So definitely check out all of Perp's content. Check out my interview. Check her out with Ace. Like, check it all out. It's fantastic stuff. I love it. So here's the thing. Yo, we got Cloudy V in the house. He says, I've been saying this for a long time. This was going to happen. It's a win-win for Microsoft if they pay for Game Pass and Geforcenow does the heavy lifting. All right. Let's get to the kit and caboodle here. Y'all see this on the screen. Let me. Good to see you, Cloudy V. Microsoft makes deal to bring Xbox titles to Geforcenow. Shout out to CloudDosage for writing this article. It says, what is largely considered to be a move to help close this acquisition of Activision, Microsoft has worked out a deal with Geforcenow to bring its own Xbox PC titles to the competing cloud service. This was announced during a briefing in Brussels today with Microsoft. And it was also noted that Nvidia no longer opposes the acquisition. Phil Spencer then went on to toot the deal himself. He says, we have signed a 10-year deal. It says, okay, if it loads up, 10-year deal agreement with Nvidia that will allow Geforcenow players to stream Xbox PC games as well as the Activision Blizzard PC titles. Wow. Including Call of Duty following the acquisition. We're committing to bringing more games to more people however they choose to play. When you look at the actual let me see. Okay, here it goes. It's in the article. When you look at the actual embed of the comments from the Nvidia article, it says Microsoft and Nvidia will begin work immediately to integrate Xbox PC games into Geforcenow so that Geforcenow members can stream PC games they buy in the Windows Store, including third-party titles where the publisher has granted streaming rights to Nvidia. Wow. Xbox PC games currently available in the third-party stores like Steam or Epic Games will also be able to be streamed through Geforcenow. So let's read that again. Microsoft and Nvidia will begin working immediately to integrate Xbox PC games into Geforcenow so that Geforcenow members can stream PC games they buy in the Windows Store, including third-party partner titles where the publisher has granted streaming rights to Nvidia. Wow. So it sounds like that the Windows Store is going to become the third hub or the third store that's going to be integrated into Nvidia Geforcenow. We currently have Steam, we currently have the Epic Games Store, we have the Ubisoft Store, and it sounds like the Windows Store is next. You can't beat that with a stick. All right. So I love reporting on that. It's great stuff. And that, of course, is the news, which I don't have up for some reason. I don't have my little catalog tag on it. So that's the news. All right. So let's do this. Oops, we got to move that. That looks sloppy. Look at that. We got to move that. All right. So now that we're done with the news, let's talk about how did we know? How did we know here at CloudDosage that this was likely going to happen? Some people are going to say, oh, MM, you're capping, bro. You did not know this was going to happen. All right. Well, I didn't know. I didn't, you say? You know how we do. Let me show you something. Oh, that's wrong. Let me show you this. All right. This is a video that we dropped 5 months ago, it says. Now, the title of the video references Stadia because, again, at the time it was Stadia Dosage and the news had to relate to Stadia for us to report on it. But the thesis and the theme of this entire video was how Call of Duty could possibly not only get on Stadia, but get in the cloud. 5 months ago, we compiled this information and we talked about it. How do we know that? Because we knew that the arguments, and people like Perk know this as well, because we've talked about this. We knew that the arguments that Microsoft was putting out there, focusing so much on Call of Duty alone versus Sony, that they were ignoring because they thought that they had snuck past the regulators' knowledge base about cloud gaming. And we told them, we kept telling people, these regulators, if they understand what this means in the cloud, there's going to need to be concessions in the cloud too. We told y'all this. We told y'all this 5 months ago, that if the regulators became adept to what was happening in the cloud and how this really was Microsoft really trying to create a monopoly in the cloud, so therefore they would make concessions on the console for 10 years with Nintendo or whatever. We told y'all that, and guess what happened? We are now here. Exactly what we said we were going to be. Now, it started with Nvidia Geforcenow. Here's my theory. Again, this is not fact, this is theory. Because I've had this discussion with my mainstream people, and again, they don't get it. In 2021, let me see if I can find it. Hold on. Let me see if I can find it. I'm gonna find it. Hold on, give me a second. Google cloud deal with Activision for Call of Duty. It was a 2021. I know it was a 2021 article. Okay. Well, let's do this. Because this, all right, damn it. I wanted the 2021 article because it speaks more to what's going on here. But this is from the Sports Business Journal. And it says Overwatch League and Call of Duty will stream exclusively on YouTube as part of a multi-year deal between Google and Activision. Google Cloud will serve as the preferred cloud provider for Activision Blizzard, which developed gaming titles such as Guitar Hero, Crash Bandicoot, in addition to Overwatch and Call of Duty. YouTube, which is owned by Google, will also stream the Hearthstone stuff. So again, it says we're excited to partner with Google to drive the next generation of gaming innovation for the industry. Google Cloud's best-in-class infrastructure gives us the confidence to deliver great entertainment to our fans around the world. So this is not just for the tournament stuff. I'm gonna read you something from the DM where I posted, but I can't find the actual, what's it called for some reason. Google struck a major deal with Activision Blizzard to have its cloud service power games from the publishers such as Call of Duty. An announcement was made this afternoon that will see Google Cloud as the backbone of the infrastructure for Activision Blizzard's game hosting needs. So the entire game hosting needs. So there's things integral, not just statistics, but there's things that are integral that are built into the game on the multiplayer side and whatever that use cloud computing or whatever, right? And so Google covers that. That's huge. I was going back and forth with some of my mainstream friends. Now some were trolling, but some were dead ass serious. What? Cloud in the game? What is that? I mean, I'm serious. These are people that's supposed to know all this stuff. And they had no clue. And so the story continues. This means games like Call of Duty, World of Warcraft, Heroes of the Storm, and others, basically any games with online capabilities that Activision, listen, I repeat, basically any game with online capabilities that Activision Blizzard publishes will use Google Cloud for game hosting infrastructure. That says it all right there. They didn't know it. God help us all. Anywho, why do I bring that up? Because if I'm Google, Microsoft merging with Activision Blizzard or buying them out, whatever, however you want to label it, it's going to be a problem for me. So if I can get my foot in the door somehow, maybe get some concessions that work out in my favor, maybe I approve this deal too. Nvidia's partnership is huge for us cloud gamers, but we got to understand this. That does not push the deal over. That's just good news for us that like Nvidia Geforcenow and like the prospects of a game like Call of Duty finally being in the cloud, and really being in the cloud in a way that's better than 99% of the other ways that you can play it anywhere. Really? Yeah, I said it. Now, with all that being said, it doesn't mean that this deal is etched in stone. The concessions that Microsoft made that is helping getting these people on board may influence these regulators. But it would be a big shot in the arm for them getting this deal passed if they can get Google on board. But Google's stake in this, in my opinion, again, this is my conjecture. This is where I'm going with this. It's different. It's not as easy peasy as, okay, we'll allow our games on your cloud platform for 10 years, because they don't have a cloud platform anymore. So, a little different. All right. Now that we put that out there, that's everything how did we know? We knew that because the argument that Microsoft presented, as we've been saying for the last several months, was weak. They were focusing on Call of Duty. They thought that the regulators were ignorant to the stuff that was happening in the cloud, and the regulators understand how important the cloud is going to be in the future. And if it does have the potential of maturing to reaching billions and billions of gamers, then of course you're going to make a concession where there's only 300 million gamers cataloged there or estimated there. The regulators weren't dumb, and we foresaw it several months ago. All right. So that's how we knew. Here's my takeaway, and then I'm gonna get to the chat. I'm torn. I'm torn. The immediate Geforcenow gamer in me wants this deal done today. But the long-term gamer in me who knows, this is going to be the unpopular part, who has been an extreme fan, went from an extreme fan of Xbox to someone who loathes the things that they do as far as falling short on promises and not providing what they say they're going to provide, and not really competing in the space that really made them a household name in gaming. When I say competing, I mean not as far as their offerings are concerned. I don't know how I feel, again, about other companies just being gobbled up because you got money and you're saying, well, we need to do this to compete, when you have more studios than your competition. And really your competition is just whooping your ass with 4 studios. They're whooping your ass with Santa Monica, Naughty Dog. Who else is there? Santa Monica, Naughty Dog, Insomniac, and Sucker Punch. They're really just whooping your ass with 4 studios. You have more studios than them. You have Bethesda. You have Halo, for crying out loud. And you still can't compete. You were able to compete 2 generations ago with less. Why can't you compete now? And it all boils down to mismanagement. So even though I like the prospects of these games, particularly the Call of Duty, I'm not going crazy over the Activision games. I mean, over the Xbox games, except for Starfield. I would love to be able to play Starfield in Nvidia Geforcenow. See, that's the game, that's the GFN gamer in me. But long term, is it best for Xbox to utilize its money to compensate for its poor management? Because that's what it is. It's poor management. Those are my thoughts. But I could be alone. I could be on my own owl. What do you guys think about this? Are you like MM2K? We'll worry about that when we cross that bridge. Damn it. Call of Duty could be coming. You better get your ass out there and support this deal. What are y'all thinking? Let me know. But I'm torn. And really, I'm torn. Like, I hate to say it. I'm 60%. All right, man. I'm ready to go. Now that I think about a Starfield, I can put, because look, like for instance, I stream Atomic Heart on the cloud. If I can get Game Pass, like this would save me a lot of money. If I could get Game, and again, it would save me money, but is it going to destroy the foundation of quality gaming in the long run? Because they're all being compiled under mismanagement. But think about it. But here goes the pros. If I shout out to Collab Gaming TV, they say they're suggesting that if you get Game Pass, PC Game Pass, that you might be able to get access to these games, and that makes sense. If you get PC or Ultimate Game Pass, so really for me, because I won't need Game Pass Ultimate anymore. I'm not playing xCloud. I got my cloud service, which is Nvidia Geforcenow. So what I could do is get PC Game Pass, and for $30 a month, I'll have Geforcenow Ultimate, and I'll have access to all of the Windows PC stuff, which would include Starfield, which would include all of the Activision games, Diablo. Oh my God, as a gamer, I would love that. But then I'm thinking long term, oh, what about those studios? Are they going to be under mismanagement? So we'll see. I don't know. I'm torn, but that's just me. Let's get to the chat. Let's see what y'all think about this. And my final opinion is the deal, and I've talked to people close to Xbox on this as well, and they agree. The deal is still far from being signed. This, I think, is a very smart attempt and very wise attempt by Microsoft to garner support for the deal from the public, to create public. Because now that you got all of the naysayers, like particularly in the cloud, supporting this, because this is where the what do you call it? This is where the bulk of this this is where the bulk of the ire, I think, is right now with the regulators. It's the cloud. I told y'all that several months ago as well. The bulk of the ire is in the cloud. So if you can get those people that are in the cloud, even though we're a small minority, but if you can get the cloud gamers to rah-rah and support, that could be very influential. Now, this is a very smart tactic by Microsoft, but here's where I still don't think it goes through on this alone. You still have Sony out there chirping, and now you got Google. And again, I think the final concession is going to either have to look like this. A, you're going to have to go to Google and make a concession in the cloud to allow Call of Duty to be in the cloud over in Google for 10 years. Or Activision to still work off of Google Cloud for 10 years. Because you did it with Minecraft and Luna. I mean, not Luna, Amazon. Minecraft for years we're still using Amazon's cloud service. And when Amazon started whipping Microsoft's tail when they had that bad quarter in the cloud a few years ago, Microsoft said, oh no, to hell with this. We're now going to move it onto Azure. So it's not like that's not a possibility. It's possible that Microsoft could say, all right, we'll concede. Can we get your approval on this too? And again, the rumorville about, I talked about it in that video that we dropped last week for the public, that Google may be throwing their support behind another cloud service and they're just going to provide the infrastructure. They might be trying to get they protege up in there and be like, okay, well, this is what you got to do for us. Guarantee us 10 years that Call of Duty Activision gonna stay on Google Cloud. And you know what I'm saying? Our little protege up here, Roy Jones Jr. You know what I'm saying? Give them access like how you gave Nvidia, you know what I mean? They might have to do something like that. Or at the very least, at worst for Microsoft, they're just gonna have to handle this like a third-party publisher and go to print this on and agree to make this available on every major platform. I mean, we're pretty much there anyway. And that would include Amazon Luna. That includes giving Amazon Luna either a Activision channel or allowing through their bring your own game process, allowing the games to be playable on Amazon Luna. They're gonna have to do either A or B. And if Google plays along, they might get away with A. But if Google don't play along, then Microsoft is going to have to take that step and do B and just say, we're going to provide this on every single major platform, CMA, EU, FTC, in order to get this passed. And that goes against the philosophy, because they wanted to have a stranglehold on this stuff so they can take over on console, and particularly so they can just rule the cloud. Now they feel like doing a 10-year deal will give them enough time to get their cloud infrastructure up to par or whatever. That might be their thinking, but who's to say that we don't have a totally different set of players in 10 years? Who's to say? I mean, Call of Duty has had some long legs, but who's to say Call of Duty is still popular in 10 years? Who's to say? Who's to say? I mean, it's just a Fortnite overnight just became a phenomenon. If there's a Call of Duty competitor that comes out there and knocks it out the park and people drop Call of Duty, man, And meanwhile, all these other people got to really benefit from, I mean, Microsoft is going to benefit from it too the most, but they really got to benefit from having Call of Duty there, and then you don't get to benefit after those 10 years for exclusivity because it's no longer popular. See, Microsoft don't like that prospect. So it's a very interesting set of events. I know a lot of you are like, MM2K, you're torn. Who gives a damn? Screw you. You better go along, get along with this deal. But I just got to be honest, I'm torn. That's just me. I think everybody else is happy. I'm on my own now. Everybody else is happy in the cloud world. I'm torn. Because I don't think in the first 5 minutes of now, I think long term. And I've been following this company for years. I know a lot of you don't understand my apprehension towards them, but I've been following them since the beginning. I used to go out there, our company, New Age Faction, or our publication, New Age Faction, that turned into PNTS Network. We started creating a petition for more games to have System Link. That was Xbox's crossover cable way of playing co-op games using different systems. That's how we started. We were doing petitions for System Link in different GameStops and sending our petition letters to Redman. And then when that didn't work, we went on MySpace. I've been following these guys and gals since the beginning. Where a lot of you all, and again, I'm not, you like what you like. I'm not telling you what you like, but I'm explaining my apprehension, where a lot of you all just got hep to them a couple years ago. So you don't understand the history and the baggage and everything that's associated to what's going on now, and how it all intertwines and how it all interconnects. And plus, as a cloud gamer, your scope is a lot smaller than someone like myself. You're looking at just accessing games. I get that. I care about that too, but then there are some other granular things as I game in other places opposite the cloud that I'm looking for, that I'm hoping that Microsoft not just competed, and I don't care about competing, but they influence in a positive way. The state of gaming is the way that it is now because of Microsoft. They push Western developed gaming into new heights. BioShock, I mean, you're enjoying Atomic Heart today because of Microsoft. If there wasn't no Microsoft, there is no Atomic Heart. Why? Because the people, Munfish or whatever their name is, they don't have anything to extrapolate from and create Atomic Heart out of. There is no BioShock to influence them if it isn't for Microsoft. So my history with researching this company and talking about them and interaction over things in regards to them is decades, not decades long. All right, let's go to the chat. That's my takeaway. Let's talk. Now let's talk. Let's see here. I'm blowing minds with my GFN photography. I'm yet to tell them it's not me, folks. It's the technology. Absolutely. It's just mind-boggling. It's mind-blowing. AV1 will be a godsend for streamers. Oh yes, so tell me about it. Let's see here. What else we got here? I should have hooked up the Stadia Bluetooth enabled controller. Man, we are so spoiled. Yeah, I gotta still do that. I still gotta convert my Stadia controller over. Project Storm says my 4090 gets less love than the 4080 tier because I'm much more fascinated by how well the 4090 is great for the videos and stuff that we want to render, Storm, and I'm looking to get one. You know what I'm saying? If I can convince my wife, which that'll never happen. But it's as a tech enthusiast, you marvel at what the 4080 tier does. It's a marvel. They said that solves EU's cloud gaming concern. The deal will now likely be approved. I don't know about that. Nvidia Geforcenow is they are a powerhouse in cloud gaming, but that's just one company. What about Luna? You know what I'm saying? Like, how do you solve cloud gaming just by giving it to one cloud company? That doesn't settle their concerns. I don't think. They either one or two things have to happen. Google has to get on board, and then Google, you know, whoever it is they try and bring to the ring has to get the same love, and then they got to sprinkle some love to Luna too, or Microsoft's just gonna have to get ahead of the curve. Because here's an interesting thing, and I was watching CNBC, as I do, because I don't just listen to these people that are in support of or against. I listen to everybody, and as somebody that has very close ties to the analyst world, I know better. I was listening to CNBC, and they were talking about that there might be a monkey wrench in the whole thing. I think this July, Activision has to recertify, or I'm not quite sure the term, but they have to recertify this deal because the deal was supposed to be done by a certain date and it has to be renewed in July. Activision has that power. And Activision can very well say, you know what? We're just going to take our $3 billion and split by this deal defaulting. So that's very important to keep in mind. So we don't know what's etched in stone. We don't know what's coming. It says it's effective immediately, so hopefully on Thursday we'll get. That would be dope. That would be dope. Wow, says Storm. Yo, this deal is crazy. Yeah, it is crazy. And the crazy part about it is I like the deal because shout out to Nvidia Geforcenow. Some smart cookies there, man. They said, look, apparently this deal is structured to be something with or without the Activision part of it. So that means potentially we're getting started. So they've committed to they got Microsoft is in such a box, in such a corner, and they didn't expect this. And there's desperation here that Nvidia, look, man, shout out to Nvidia. They said, hold on. Don't be giving out cheese and butter without me. I'm coming to the courthouse. Y'all know about that. Y'all know about that government cheese and butter. That's a whole nother story. That's a whole nother podcast. They said, don't give out the government cheese and butter without me coming to the courthouse. You know what I'm saying, Storm? Sean, you know what I'm saying? They was like, hold on. We don't like this deal either. Unless you give us your games. So shout out to Nvidia GeForce now. And look, they made it come through for us as gamers, whether this Activision Blizzard deal goes through at all. As Cloudy V just said, they are working on this now. So this Geforcenow Thursday could be the flyest. And you know where you need to be. You need to be here. 8:45 a.m. Eastern. What is that? 6:45 a.m. Pacific. And what is that? 2:45 p.m. UK for GFN Countdown. That's the countdown show that we do every Thursday where we take the latest and greatest in Geforcenow news. We count it down to the top 3 and we just talk about it in the totality. And I go on spills similar to this. And we do it live. We're going to kick off the first 15 minutes, let y'all speculate on what's going to be in the news, what games are going to be announced or whatever. And then we go live at 9 a.m. Eastern with the news. We do it live. I mean, all the other pre-recorded videos, they're dope, they're fly. Definitely, I watched them all. But come hang out with us live, man. Come hang out with us live, all right? And check out all the videos. Everybody, all the content creators that are putting out great stuff in regards to the NVIDIA Geforcenow, show them all some love because they all have their own different and unique perspective. All right, I'm gonna take a couple more comments and then we're gonna roll out of here because I'm well over time. Storm says, this is what I rooted for the hardest for Stadia. The reach potential for these companies are huge. Yeah, it would have been great for them to do that. The only problem is that Stadia had to be developed for standalone. It didn't have the conduit aspect to it. They were working on it, and unfortunately, again, the towel was thrown in before that happened. But we'll see who they suppose. Again, it's rumorville. We'll see who they Roy Jones Jr. is going to be. Who they Mayweather Jr. is going to be. You know what I mean? Purple Ace says, I think from a legal perspective, to stream from GFN, you couldn't do a subscription service where the player doesn't own the game. Could be wrong on that, but it seems to be this would be for games bought. I think that if you're part of EA Play via PC, which is a subscription service perp, I think you can stream games off of that. So I don't think you need like an individual purchase license. And what we got to remember too is that Nvidia Geforcenow, they have these staunch agreements for their cloud service that aren't really necessary, but that's to avoid the embarrassment and stuff like that they went through in 2020 where people just opted out of the service or whatever. They like, look, if you want to be on here, you got to sign to this opt-in agreement. All right? Because NVIDIA of GeForce could have more games feasibly. But for all intents and purposes, they want that opt-in agreement from what I've read. They want it. And it makes sense why they want it, because that was an embarrassing and that was a really dangerous time for them. So I think they'll be okay, because again, I think EA Play now allows you to utilize their cloud subscription to get their, to play their games. That's my understanding of it. All right, it's June 23rd, I believe. There are fines and fees to be paid after that date. It's June. Oh, okay. So y'all was watching CNBC and they were talking about it and they were saying something that it had to be renewed, so to speak. I'm ad-libbing there, but it had to be kind of renewed. So where the fine, the $3 billion or whatever, Activision can say, no, we want this deal to go through. We're going to extend it. We're going to extend the deadline. That's all in Activision's hands. We're going to extend the deadline. Or sneaky, slimy Bobby Kotick can say, I need y'all to, now we're going to just take our $3 billion and run. All right, with that said, that's it from your boy. Again, check us out this Thursday if you can. If you're at work, just listen to it. NVIDIA Geforcenow news is going to be presented via GFN Countdown when we go live 8:45 a.m. Eastern. Okay. Thank you all for your participation. Love you guys. Thank you so much. It's huge news. Even though I'm torn, don't let me be the sour boo-boo in your excitement. This is huge news. Let's celebrate it. And I'm torn about the Activision part, but I'm not torn about the other part where the Xbox games are coming, because I wanted to play Starfield, couldn't really enjoy it natively, I thought, and I definitely wasn't playing it on xCloud, but with it potentially coming to GFN, I'm loving it. Mwah!